All right, let's get cracking, folks, and let's pretend that these are the parts I ordered on the last episode. Now I have all I need to start building our silicon tone bender Mark II Pro version. So first of all, I want to cut the strip board, and in here we can see our strip board is 19 points wide and 10 vertically, I think. So I made my markings here. I know where to cut. And I will be using the vise you see there, the red thing. And I will be sawing it. It's good to check it a few times before you cut it. Like, just do a few, count it up a few times, make sure you're cutting on the right place. Then I will just hook it up onto the vise. Yeah, I'm just checking which way. There we go. I start cutting. It takes a while. And if you want to make it easier, you can cut along the holes. So there's less stuff to cut. And there we go. Cuts are done, sped up, as you can see. And I have my strip board. The size is right now, a little bit of cleanup. And then I will sand it down just a little because the edges might be rough. So that's what I usually do. Yeah, and you don't want to be breathing that stuff also. So I'm of course using a respirator. All right. Yeah, as you can see. All right, back to the desk. And what's next? The next thing I usually do, well, there we go with the sanding. You could have sped that up too, but like I said, these are gonna be long videos. I'm just gonna show you the process, and it does take a while to make one. So, and I will give you some tips and really get to the details of it. So yeah, next up, making the cuts. So we will have cuts on the board. We cut in places so the current doesn't run through. And they are marked on the strip board layouts with red dots in there. And we can see that there's 10 cuts. And you can see there that they have these red dots on the board. But the thing is, now we have to mirror our board, because those cuts, this is what you see in here. So the cuts will be on the underside and the components will go on this side. So we have to think about it mirrored. So now when we start to count our cuts, and let's take those two dots on the right, we would have to count them from the left actually. And that's what I'm gonna do. Because otherwise our cuts would be in the wrong place when we flip the board and start adding components on it. So I just made the mistake. So that's not what you do. I just made the mistake. So here you go. That's the cut I'm gonna make, mark. So now I flip it and I mark it from the right. 3 holes from the right. And yeah. And there I go with the marking. So that's really important. I've done it a few times. I just marked it and I forgot to mirror it, and then I do my cuts and I'm like, fuck, there I go. Yeah, I just messed up the board. They are not expensive though, so it's not like a big deal. But yeah, it's you put all that effort and it goes to waste. So. And here's what I do the cuts with. I've noted that a good sized drill bit, a little hand drill like this, and it's really easy to just do a little bit of drilling. You don't have to go all the way through. You just drill enough so that it takes the copper away from that spot. And as you see, the connection there is broken. Yeah. And that's the first cut. I'm gonna cut the rest. There we go. That was fast. And then we can see we're done with the cuts. And if we want to make sure that the current isn't running where it shouldn't be, we can take a multimeter. It's a really handy tool when you're building pedals. I can recommend having one. So there we go, and we can hear that little sound when there is connection. So you can check like, all right, your multimeter is working. But yeah, we're good. There's no connections. And the next thing I'm gonna do is just purely cosmetic. I like to paint my boards black. Don't ask me why. I just think it looks nice. Back in black. And when it's dried up, I'm gonna start populating the board. And let's see what we're gonna start with. I think we're gonna start with the jumpers. You can see there's 2 jumpers in there, and they are the blue lines. You see there. So I do my jumpers with plain copper wire. And now I'm gonna just mark one spot on the board so I know which way I have to keep it for a while. It helps me to not mess up. So here we go. Let's take copper wire. Sorry. I'll sand it down a bit so the solder will stick a bit easier in there. And it's it's really inexpensive compared to if you would use your hookup wires. So usually you can get some on like hobby or art and craft stores. They have them. So there we go. God damn it. Yeah, I think I missed the spot. All right, so there we go. That looks good. Let's check the placement. All right. And it's always good to like double check if you're putting your components on the right place, especially on the start when there's nothing there, so you don't have a reference point. Because it's a kind of pain to desolder it later. It's much easier to just get it right. Save yourself the trouble and double check. Or triple. Quadruple. There we go. That should be good. And now we do a little check, and we notice that, yep, hey, I thought I marked the lower corner, I mean the upper corner, but I didn't, so like I said, double check, or triple, or quadruple. There we go, that should be good. So I'm gonna put those in place. It's usually when you start to populate the board, you're going to see the order I'm going for. I'm gonna put the small components first, and I will solder those, and from there on I'll move to the bigger ones, because it's just much easier to do it that way, from my experience. And I believe that would be the popular opinion. So, and there we go, that's the other link, or jumper. Let's be precise. Okay. Good now. All right. Then I just press it like against the wood, and I have it flat. Take my helping hand. The soldering iron is probably hot by now. I just twist the legs so they keep in place when I flip it upside down, ready to solder. And everything is in order. They are in the right place. They are, yes. All right, let's get to it. I'll show you how a good solder should look like. Yep, it's hot. And that's the way I do it. I just put the iron on the other side, and then I feed the solder from the opposite side. I hold the iron there for a bit to get the leads, or in this case the copper wire, really hot. And then you just get your flux in there. All right, here we go. So that's what it looks like. Nice, shiny, no gaps, if you can see there. There we go, that's a good look. Yep. And they are properly. Don't be like messing with them instantly after soldering, and just let them cool down properly. And then I'll use my flush cutters and make some really clean cuts. Get it flush. There we go. It all looks good. But sometimes if you do think there's something that shouldn't be there, you can go over the lines with a sharp tool and clean them. I don't always do that because if you solder properly, you don't have to, but sometimes I just go through the board and, you know. Then we're gonna take these sockets. We're gonna put the sockets for the transistors in place. So that way, like I explained in the ordering of the parts, in the first part of the series, it's nice to sometimes try different transistors. So these sockets will make it much easier. So you don't solder the transistors in place. You just solder these sockets, and then it will be easy to just change the transistors. And then you can just see what sounds good, if there's substitutes you can use. Alright, so let's put a few in there. It's hard to keep them in place, so you know, you can't really twist the legs, so and it's in the right place. And then the next one, I think I'm gonna just do a couple first and then the third one. So these ones I should be able to keep in place, flip it around, put it on the board, and then just solder one pin of both to keep them in place, and then the rest. And these ones I usually don't, because there's not much leg in there, so I don't cut the extra off. It's they're usually really clean anyway, so I just leave them as they are. Yeah. It is what it is. It can take you a long time when you have a bigger board to get all the parts on it. I mean, now we have a board of 19 and 10, so, but then you can have boards like 40 to like 25, so that's a lot more components. And that's when you really want to double, triple check, and you know, 'cause it's a pain in the ass when you done all that and there's something wrong, you know. So yeah, it looks good. They're in place. Really nice. Really nice. The next thing we're gonna start putting in there are the resistors. Like I said, go from the smaller components to the bigger ones. So we're gonna go And sometimes you get the E in there, but it's the same as the R, so it's just ohms, you know. There we go. Let's see. And you can see the markings on there, so the colored lines. They will actually, if you want to know the value of the resistors, you can figure it out with those lines. I think there are like websites that will you can look up like, all right, that's the value is this. So here we go. And basic thing, twist leads, and we're good to go. Let's put the rest in there. Speed it up a bit. Or a lot, you know, because it takes a while. And there we go. Everything in place. You can, if it's hard to like solder all them in once, because it gets messy on the other side when there's the legs are, so it's hard to sometimes get your iron in there, and you know. So of course you can go like just one by one if it's easier. So, but I have a little bit of experience, so I just put all the resistors in there and solder it one go. And let's get to it. Come on, hurry up. Why is it taking so long? God damn, man. Speed it up. I don't have all day. I actually do. I have nothing but time, but you know. All right. Yeah, there we go. Just let's cut that crap. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, there's the results. Look really nice. And yeah, it looks really, that's how it should look like, you know, nothing's popping out of the board, you know, so, and that's a good thing. You should always try to keep it like that, so there's less risk of ground issues or anything touching, the components touching each other, you know. I mean, the components can touch each other, but the legs or leads, you don't want them doing anything weird. So after that, let's put some caps in there. These have polarity, so as you can see there, and they also have the marking, like the value in them, so that makes it really easy to, and there you can see there's the minus is also apparent on the layout there, so, and those blue caps represent these polarized caps, so the minus goes on the bottom there, as we can see. And then we have 3 of those, and one of them on the left side has like this really long, so when you do it like that, just make sure it doesn't, you know, those leads don't touch anything. Yeah. Try to get it there as neatly as possible. And here we go again. Yeah, nice job, man. That was much faster. I like it. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. And it looks like... Oh, yeah. That's not good. You see there? It is actually connected, but I don't leave them like that. I just want... no. So... let's make it proper. It might cause issues later, so... And I think the next thing we're gonna put in there are these other capacitors that don't have polarity. So in this layout they are marked with those red things in there. And those are the components we're gonna put in there next. And the one UF, I have this I think film box type one. Because I couldn't. I usually have these. You will see. I have these green, I think Mylar film caps, and they're pretty cheap, but they don't have the one UF value. So that's why I have this huge gray block in there. And after I've done, with them, and there you can see the green caps. The board is populated, so all that is left is to pop the transistors in the on the sockets, and we're ready to start do the offboard wiring and hook up the potentiometers and the other stuff. So we'll see you on episode 3. Have fun. Bye.